case you haven't been following social media, apparently there's full moon, a new moon in eclipse. Everyone is losing their shit around it. And there is minus the fact that the US is literally sending 3 rockets to into the eclipse. But outside of that, what I love about this energy is we have 3 energies: Mercury, Chiron, and the new moon. If you've ever been with me before, new moon in Aries is one of my favorite because I consider the astrological year being the first real year. The Gregorian one didn't exist until like very actually recently, as far as like life as an Earth age. But I really do feel like in spring, it's a new life. So I love leaning into this. Mercury energy is, so write it down. Mercury energy is retrograding into a few things that you could have been missing. And it's usually around communication. So make a note and look into your life. And if there is like all the things about communicating that is coming up, or things that you thought, I've handled this, like what is this coming again? Mercury is coming here to show you what you could have missed. Then we have Chiron, that is the wounded healer, that is going to tell you where there is some wounds that you haven't addressed. And none of this is to annoy you. All of this is actually to propel you into the energy of Aries. Aries get the bad reputation in astrology of being the baby of the zodiac and like just going for things and not always thinking about it and being like a little too impulsive. But in this, Aries to me is like really that sacred warrior, which brings me into the topic of today, is what are you willing to not just live for, but die for? That's what a war is. War is about, I am going to die for what I believe in. So now that brings me really to the topic of your purpose, why you're actually here today, and why you're actually here on Earth. So I'm going to start very morbidly, because why not? You are in your deathbed. You're dying. That's it. Time out. Clock is off. That's it. I want you to look into your life and think of 3 questions. The very first one is, what matters? And moms, don't give me bullshit about your kids. We know they matter to you. I get it. Now, like real shit. It's your soul looking back and being like, what really mattered? I can guarantee you, your ex didn't matter. Your 5 pounds didn't matter. The color of your hair didn't matter. So what mattered? And what you wish you did more of? That you had the courage to live for. And I'm going to give you a minute, because if things are coming up, if you're already having some things like, oh my God, I wish I would have done, I want you to write it in the chat. The second question is, what lit me up and what didn't let me up? I love culture. So interesting. I'm curious to see if there is a theme here, that things that light you guys up. Okay, amazing. I love this for you, Cassandra. Because I feel like last time we spoke, you were like, it doesn't really matter. Convince myself it doesn't really matter. And look at that. In your deathbed, you're like, oh, it did matter. So what lit you up and what did you do that didn't light you up? So what is in current life that you're doing that you're gonna look back and we're like, why? This thing really drained me, didn't light me up, and allow it to continue happening. That's when the X comes in. Now you can write the X if you want to. Or the 5 pounds. Being like, why did I waste so much energy of my life energy on that? Oh, I love Midwest people. They're like, winter. They're like, that didn't let me up. Why did I spend more time in winter? That's a very good point. I love these authenticity, connection, pleasing others, and trying to be perfect. What, right? You would look back and be like, that was such a waste of energy and time. Why did I do that? Judgment. I love it. The word travel. A lot of freedom energy today. So interesting. The last one, and some of you may not have even gotten to module 6 yet, but in module 6 is all about purpose. And I actually give you a little formula on how to find your purpose. But before we do that, none of you here came just for you, okay? All of you choose Earth at this time because there is an impact that you want to leave behind. So again, it's your deathbed. And think of what impact. You're like, oh, I'm glad I did that. When I say impact, I'm not saying you're changing Earth in some like jazz hand ways. I'm saying could be anything. I'm glad I said thank you. I'm glad I smiled to this person. I'm glad I brought more kindness. I did more. What? Look back and see all of the ways that you do every day that impacts humanity. Again, could be anything. That in your deathbed, you will be proud of. And the way we're actually going to start the energy clearing about the blueprint of purpose is you have this in the heart module. So some of you already done that. In the heart module, we talk about what we want and what we don't want. And there is something called the law of polarity, meaning when I ask people, what do you want? It's almost like that scene from The Notebook. But what do you want? It's not that easy type of thing. You guys all get stuck in what you want. But all of you are very clear about what you don't want. Is that true? Do you feel like you know what you don't want? There are things in your life right now that pissing you off that you don't want. Would that be correct? Okay. What is going on? The energy of Aries should be firing you up. Why are you guys acting all Pisces on me? Come on. So be pissed, people. It's the energy of Aries. So think about the things that are pissing you off right now. What is pissing you off that you don't want? Write it down. Okay, Ingrid, go deeper. Your racist, you don't spend time on your racist, chaotic boss. I want you to know what's pissing you off about yourself right now that you don't want anymore. And it's not the boss that you don't want. It's probably something about you not being able to say no, you not being able to go for the dream. There is something about you not going for something here because change. So go deeper into that. There is something about your current situation Okay, so what is pissing you off, Laura, is husband not putting effort into finding his joy. Why does that matter to you? I know it matters, but going back into yourself, don't give power to someone else over what's about your anger. Meaning, if he is perfect, Tammy, like for example, Tammy could have said, people taking advantage of me. She could have said, that is what's pissing her off. But what's actually pissing her off is her allowing that. So she's going back to the things that she can influence. In fulfilled work environment, my resistance to change it. Perfect. Having to tolerate a certain family member, that means boundaries. So what you're pissed about is you not putting boundaries. The family member is, that's their own shit. We're not going to waste time on them. So this is about you not putting boundary. And someone else, I want them to, oh yeah, Laura, I really want you to rephrase this in a way that's why does it. Good. Diana is in the same wavelength as me with the, I love that, really pissing me off. Good job. You understood the assignment of anger today. I'm sorry, that was not included in the email. Okay, so Laura, I'm still waiting for that rephrasing of what about him not finding his purpose is pissing you off. What does that mean to you? And write that down. So you're phrasing that back. And Ingrid, I don't know if you had a chance to rephrase that, because those are what you don't want. And when you write down what you don't want, as simple as that, you look into the opposite of that, and you know the opposite of that is actually what you want. Because the opposite of what makes you angry. So, for example, Sandra is not putting boundaries, not able, like not having the guts to put that boundary with that person. What she really wants is to learn how to really put those boundaries. Same thing for Tammy. It's like what I really want is to be able to know my worth and no longer allow people holds back. I put my energy to instead of myself and not moving past my fear. Perfect. So what you actually want is, if you read that sentence in a positive, not in negative negation, that will tell you what you really want. So go back into the energy of anger and things that are pissing you off. So everything that we came to the surface. So Ingrid, again, find that one that is not related to other people, that it is within your control. Perfect. Where do you feel it in your body? And write it down for me if your head. Perfect. Interesting. Stomach, throat. Throat. There's a lot of throat chakra today. That's Mercury. Actually, every chakra has a planet, and throat is Mercury. Chest, stomach. So what we digest, what we don't digest, we're gonna go over that in a second. Diana said my head, and that's the only person I see head so far. Head is your thoughts. So there is something that we've been doing in the Facebook group. We've been doing saying no more. So Diana, your biggest thing is gonna be learning to say no to your thoughts. Like literally saying no to your thoughts. So when you have a thought, recognize it, and instead of going with it, just say no to it, because that's the limitation. It's actually blocking your crown chakra from getting some of the intuitive hits because it's too busy. Stomach digestion. So everyone who said stomach, that's digestion. What you're digesting, not digesting, we're gonna get to it. It's part of the plan. Throat is permission. Again, not giving yourself permission and courage. See some chest. Chest showed up earlier with someone else from this group, and chest is boundaries, but also grief. So a lot of you, if who wrote chest, look into what areas you're not putting boundaries. That is actually costing you. It's costing you yourself, and you're grieving that part of you. You're grieving that part of you that doesn't get to be expressed, that doesn't get to be seen. So journal about, wrote those down for you to reflect on. The next thing is everyone close your eyes, because this is just intuitive hit. Don't overthink it. So just close your eyes. And I want you, when I say what area in your life is aligned, what comes to mind and how does it feel? and just feel into it. Bring forward areas of your life that feel very aligned, and notice how it feels in your body. And describe it to yourself. Does it feel expansive, spacious, light? So think of those words, and when you feel like you have a good description of it, write it down for yourself or write it down for me. Once you could really tune into the energy of alignment, how does it feel to be aligned? Tell me, ask the question. Can you ask the question again? Tell me, what did you say? I only see the aligned. Yeah, aligned. Peaceful, stable, easy. Warm, light, free. Okay. Everyone who got it, I want you to really use your own sheet and write those 3 words or 4 words or whatever that is, because that is your GPS to your purpose. That is the shortest. Anything. No problem. Perfect. If you're struggling with feeling aligned, that's even better. That's not even better, but that's great. That tells me what we need to work on. But I want you to, those are your new barometer. If you want to know that you are in the right track towards your purpose, it should literally feel. So keep them into a piece of paper, and every single time you have a doubt, ask yourself, how does that make me feel? Does it make me feel X, Y, and Z? And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Got it? Clear enough? Perfect. Now, take a deep breath in again. Close your eyes and think all of the areas in your life where you don't feel aligned. Ingrid, that's your chance to just feel into the area that doesn't feel aligned. Notice how that feels like. Write it down. But I'm really interested in, for the misaligned, is the behavior around it. All of these things in your life right now that are misaligned, what is your behavior around it? Do you shrug it off? It's misaligned, but it is what it is. Do you shrink? Not caring, amazing. Which is a problem, because again, remember, your homework for today is to be pissed. So if you're not caring, but go in the behavior. Frustration and avoidance, amazing. The behavior, another behavior that is very areas, so especially when it's in the misaligned, is over obsessing. So for the people who may have said head, feel suffocating and behave frantically, amazing. So that energy of frantic, that is a behavior. So look at what no patience, impatience, and anger. Perfect. Keep on tapping into the energy of that anxiety. everyone who has control, this is actually true for all of you, hopeless, exhaustion, all of these, sadness, outside of sadness is different. So I'm going to go back into a second. But the frustration, the anxiety, the suffocating, the impatience, freeze, control, hopelessness, they're all distractions. So everything that you wrote, and you can take even a screenshot of it if you want to. I don't know if Zoom is going to allow you that for everyone who wrote it, or like write it down the side. Outside of sadness, when you feel those things, when you are in those behavior, you're actually avoiding, you're distracting from addressing what's misaligned. And it's much easier to focus on the symptom, whatever that is, or the emotion, versus to address what's misaligned. And I don't know, I mean, Libra is in the South Node, so maybe that's how it comes together. Libra is a lot of energy about the connection and relationships. So for a lot of you, or maybe not for, maybe actually for all of you, but energetically, there is a strong pull from a lot of you that every single time they feel misaligned, instead of going back to self, they want to find something external to connect to versus connecting back to themselves. That could be looking into a relationship. I mean, when I say relationship, is any kind of form of connection. Food is a connection. Relationships are a collection, like another human. Work, but there is, like, I feel the energy of void and wanting to go outside of us to connect to something external, even if it's a thought. So going back to Diana earlier when she said head, even if I keep on feeding a thought in a frantic way, is a way to connect to something external versus going back to self. And for some of you, when I say connecting back to self, it feels extremely foreign, because, which is the next energy, because it doesn't feel safe. I know we've done this before, so that you can have a safety and body images, but that tells me that for a lot of you, what you just envisioned earlier as the aligned life may not feel safe. So when I say, how does it feel safe? Feel into that word. Does it feel safe to be in the aligned life? Close your eyes and just feel into those words. And just answer yes and no. Perfect. Okay. But it feels safe. So stay with the safety. Worry about the brick wall in a moment. Just feel into the safety, because that's what's going to help you with the brick wall. So just answer with yes or no. Let's see how many yeses I have. Celia said no. Yes, perfect. No. Okay. So for the people who wrote or got no as an answer, write down on the side for you to journal about why you're, what do you have to say yes to? Actually, that's the real question. What do you have to say yes to in order to feel safe in this aligned life? Let me give you an example. could be like, oh, my aligned life would be to change work and start my own business. And it doesn't feel safe at all. Like I'm freaking out. So what do I have to say yes to? That could be trusting my own resources. I have to say yes to my own resources, or I have to say yes to my own like intelligence. And then that can may bring down some things like, oh, I'm not good enough, or my brain, or I'm not as intelligent, or I'm not capable of creating my own money. So what do you have to say yes in order for this thing to be safe? If anyone is struggling with this question, like not understanding the question, let me know. Perfect. So Ingrid, actually, that's you feel safe in the feeling. Stay with the feeling, because that's what's going to help you with passing through the fear of negative consequences. But this is the energy of saying yes to myself, no to others, or not no to other stuff. So a lot of time, when energetically we're already feeling yes, we're going to choose purposely to not say yes to ourselves, because we have to say no to other things. Does that make sense? I love you too, Mama. Can you close the door? So Akhlin is like, hey, an inner child just saying to the group, I love you. So lean into that. And decide, what do I have to say yes to? Or if I say yes to myself, what do I have to say no to? Because usually that's also a big block. So for you, Ingrid, those negative consequences, that's the things that are holding you back, is the things that you have to say no to. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and just to feel into it. You don't need to even know what your purpose is. It's not about knowing what it is. If I say close your eyes, do I value my purpose? And feel into that. And let me know, how does it feel for you? Do you value it, and how does it feel for you to value your purpose? And again, you literally don't need to know what it is. If you're in life, if you are in this lifetime and you're breathing, you have a purpose. Okay. But it felt like a no. So stay with the no. And just now tap into the energy. So the people who said no, tap into the energy. How does it feel like for me? How would it feel like if I valued it? Yeah. So people who are saying no, feel into, how would it feel like if I valued it? How would you perceive it? What would you do differently? How was, speaking of behavior, strong? Okay. Why, Cassandra, it's so interesting. Why are you question marking it? Jenna is so interesting. You said it feels like you're giving up another piece of you. Is that what you said, right? To value your purpose? Okay. Okay. So Cassandra, I'm gonna ask you to, you're confident about your purpose, you're confident about its worth. There is no washy-washy energy. How would it feel like to and own it? Because this energy of like it's like you're asking permission is what's not allowing you to tap into it. Value feels like ease, perfect, freedom, perfect. Actually, like I like free better than strong for you, even though strong is amazing, but that resonates more. I'm gonna go back into, because I just said say yes to yourself, say no to others, and make 2 colons for you to work into. So it could look like yes to me, no to others. And it could literally look like one big line, yes to me, no to others, for you to lean into in the next few days. This energy starts, it's peaking tomorrow, but actually it's leading up until the 20th. So you can tap a little bit more into it now. But I found very interesting is Jenna said about valuing her purpose is giving more to herself to others. So if we go as if saying yes to why she's here on earth is another way that prevents her from saying no to others. And this is very interesting for this group because I know a lot of you are interested in even being a healer or being a holistic practitioner or stuff like that. That could be, for a lot of empaths, true. So actually, this is very important for the group. When, if God forbid, I am more into my purpose, then everyone is going to want a piece of me. If this resonates for any of you, or if I'm more into my gift or anything like that, you're actually losing a part of you, please write it in the chat. Because in the energy healing, we want to call your energy back. Probably don't have going back to boundaries. So if this resonates for any of you, if I lean more into, if I say yes, more yes to myself, it's harder, or to my gifts, or to this purpose, now it feels like a mission and a duty, and it's going to be harder and harder for me to say no to others. Yeah, so for you, what was it, Diana? For you, Diana, it's a little bit more straightforward. You're just going to have to learn to say yes to what you want, and no, like yes to being accepted by yourself, and saying more no to worrying about being accepted by others. But also hard to give myself everything. Absolutely. And Celia resonates. Okay, so for Celia and Jenna, I'm gonna just, in the energy healing, I'll be a little bit more mindful to call your energy back. For everyone else, I want you, when I say purpose, you don't know what your purpose is. But I want you to think of, when I say what your purpose is, what comes to mind. And again, it doesn't have to be just handy. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm gonna like bring us to the 12th dimension. I'm literally thinking about what you think your purpose is. Again, it could be all of the things that brought you alignment earlier, tips. So look at the things that make you feel grounded, free, all of the things that you wrote earlier, because those are your breadcrumbs towards your purpose. And write them down. If you know what your purpose is, write it down for me. If you don't know and you can think of anything, let me know if you think you even have one. Like, I think someone earlier said, I don't think I have one. So I find it interesting. So let's start there. If you know what it is, write it down. If you don't know what it is, let me know if you think you have one. Let me see. Can you hear me now? Okay, perfect. So tell me, do you think you have one? You said you don't know what yours is. Is bring people together. I love that. Perfect. Fun, joy, community. And whatever came to mind for you, whatever felt right for you, I want you to close your eyes and feel into it and feel into the answer. This gift, this purpose, whatever this is, you know it, you don't know it. Do you accept it? If it's a yes, perfect. If you are from the no team, make make a note to yourself to journal into the why. Because I'm going to explain something about purpose. We all as a soul have a purpose. There is not such a thing as not having, it doesn't exist. It's just not a thing. But no, because I feel like I'm taking on this responsibility for someone's healing. Rather than facilitating it. Okay, perfect. So Celia, we can talk about that. That's actually a beautiful thing. Just to let's I'll say almost join in some of the what Jenna said earlier, giving more to myself, which I think you resonated with, is everyone has a purpose. And not only everyone has a purpose, but you have agreed on this purpose. You chose that purpose. And purpose, again, it's not doesn't have to be like discovering the next Nobel Prize. That's not what I mean. It could be about finding more joy. It could be about bringing, like just by your energy alone, like literally your own energy. Your only job, your only purpose is to feel more and more and more into the things that feel aligned, that energy of freedom, of grounded, of presence, of stillness, of peace. The more you do that, that alone, the more you bring more of that frequency to earth. The more you bring more to the people around you. You could be standing at an airport and you are feeling this energy of stillness, and someone walk by you and feels that, even if they don't know why, they may start, like, divine compensations work in a different way. They may get an idea, they may get something just because of your energy, because we are all connected. So your purpose could literally be, I am here coming on earth to just experience, which is all our purpose. Actually, all our purpose is to us to come to experience whatever feels aligned to us, feels like. And there is no attachment to how it looks like. Does that make sense when I say no attachment to how it looks like? Because then you can start really limiting yourself. If my mind can only comprehend the word healer as being a surgeon or being a naturopath or being a Reiki healer, then I may be really limiting myself in that whatever thing I know about. Not seeing all of these other things that bring me joy or bring me fun or bring me things, that I could be blocking them because this is my purpose. So you could be actually boxing yourself in that purpose versus going with the feeling of the alignment. Does that make sense for everyone? Now, my second step with that, when it comes to this energy right now, there is a lot of people that know intuitively that they have certain, that's the word gift. Could be a little more intuition, could be dreams, that's whatever it is. Does any of you in the last 6 weeks felt some bizarre things going on? If you do, now ask yourself the question again. Do you accept it? Perfect. And if you don't accept it, for the people who don't accept it, bizarre things may be intuition. Jenna, you're intuitive. So I can break that news for you. So you're probably not accepting it is what's making you not feel great. So the lean into physically in your body. When I say bizarre things, are like things that you were not in your consciousness before. I'm like, oh, this is a new thing. I thought of this and this happened, or I dreamt of this. And like I had someone share from the goddess activation that they literally dreamt of someone come and healing their knee, and they woke up this morning with no pain, and they're like, is this, am I crazy, like, is this real? And I'm like, what, why do you care? Does your knee hurt? Yes or no? It doesn't move. Like, perfect, amazing. So with this is accepting a little bit more of these gifts. So for any of you that is saying no, if any of you feeling things but they're saying no, is this the case here? If none of you is doing that, that's amazing. But if you're listening to your recording and you are feeling no, go do in the last module. I know I'm making you jump ahead. There is the soul, there is a cord cutting. And usually when you're not accepting your gift, there is a trauma around gifts. So you want to actually cut cord with whatever commitment, anything like that. There is also womb healing that we've done last time that is in the feminine, and I'll write it down once I send the email and the Facebook group to go back and do them, because that will help remove any kind of trauma around having gifts. Now, before I do the energy healing, which we're going to do together, Celia, you wrote something that I found very, very interesting. You said, no, because I feel like I'm taking the responsibility on someone's healing. Let me break it down for you and pop your little burst your bubble. You're not God. You're not in charge of anyone's healing. It's their own healing. They're the own healer. It's their responsibility. The mere fact, you know what's healing? No, Cassandra, I don't mean gifts in your human design. I mean like actual like energy gifts. We'll go into it in a minute. But Celia, when they say yes to any of your program, to you, to anything, even when they come to you as the chiropractor, they are not investing in you. They are investing in themselves. Can you understand that? Meaning your job is just do your job. That's it. Like, you just do what you know what to do with no attachment to the outcome, because they do the healing. So, for example, a lot of you are from Jordana's program. So she's not the one making you drop the pounds. That almost should never be. She should never be attached to that outcome. Does that make sense? Because you're the one who is, your soul chose that route for a healing. And it may end up with that being actually releasing the pounds or the pain in case of a chiropractor or whatever it is, or it might be something else, but you can't be attached to the outcome. And again, you could be limiting your patient if you are going with them with their outcome, because the outcome could just be the the top of the iceberg, really hiding what is the real thing. So your job is to actually follow their lead. It's their responsibility. Their healing is their responsibility. Because what happened with that, and I think I say this to practitioners a lot, you start taking their power away. Does that make sense when I say taking their power away? It's actually making them think they're lacking, which is the opposite of what you want to do as someone who came here to help someone activate their healing, is to actually remind them of how powerful they are. Is not to leave them feeling even less powerless and even more depending on you, because then you just switched one problem by another. So when they say yes to your program, to your service, to whatever, that is just a mean. That is just a little step. The divine compensation is basically just wanting them to say yes. And it may come, I've had programs that I've joined, like business, but I didn't even attend. I literally didn't even attend. And I still had the promise. I didn't do anything they told me to do. But it was such a leap of faith for me to say yes. And all the universe was waiting for is that, is she ready to take that risk? Is she ready to trust herself? Is she ready to trust her purpose? And it's like, that's all we're waiting for you to do. The tools are just tools. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Now, for some of you that rewatching this, and if you're watching this driving and you can do it yourself, that's fine. I'm going to hold it for the group. But for some of you who can do it, I want you to put your left, so this is the left hand, on your solar plexus. So that will be upper digestion, and your right one on your sacral, which is your uterus, below your belly button. And what we're doing, so close your eyes and just feel into it. And start by just feeling into your palms. Which one feels colder? Which one feels warmer? And what we're going to be doing is clearing the energy between the two. And physically, this is about the digestive tract. So reestablishing the energy from your stomach to your liver, pancreas, small, large intestine, helping you really connect from a physical perspective into everything that is allowing you to digest, break down, eliminate what's no longer serving you in this time, but also absorb and receive everything that you're meant to. So we're just going to clear this physically. So I don't know if some of you have been having digestive issues, because it seems there is a lot of energy there to just use your breath to help facilitate, especially if you actually feel energy moving. Your breath allows your diaphragm to open and allow the energy to flow and the chi to flow in all of those organs. And now, still with your eyes closed, energetically, this is about sharing your creative power. So just feel into that word. What are you wanting to create? Could be a real creation, like life, like a child, like a project, but it also could be your gifts. Like energetic gifts could be something that you want to create, could be your fun, it could be your expression. How does it feel when I say share, how ready you feel to share your creative powers? Now I'm going to tap a little bit more. I'm going to dial it up with that solar plexus. So feel into your left hand. How big do you want the audience to be? There is no wrong or right answer. It could be an audience of one. It could be just you, no audience at all. Just want to bring it to life. Could be an auditorium. Could be the whole wide world. Whatever comes to mind is the right one. And for a lot of you, just sharing it, the moment I said sharing it, I could feel a lot of pulling back, even if it's like feeling how scary, just bringing it into life feel. So if that's the case, if you're feeling the resistance, just breathe into it. Just keep on breathing in. Just take a deep breath in. Allow with every breath your diaphragm to open. So you should feel more life, more air under both your hands. And just before exhaling, now that you hold that image, stay with there for as long as you need until you are comfortable with sharing. And then we're comfortable with the size of the audience. Again, it could be an audience of one or an audience of a million. Don't shrink it back. Don't try to make it bigger. Just hold it. Allow yourself to be comfortable with that intuitive number that came through. Once you do that, since we are in the Aries energy of action, look into your current life. And in order to do that, to share your creative power, to lean into the audience, to show up, what would you need to change right now about the way you show up? Once you get the answer, because those are actionable actions that you can take, write them down. Whatever that is. What do you need to change on how you currently show up in this world? And I'm actually going to give you a few minutes to just journal about that. And don't go with your mind. Don't go, I need to do more social. Like, this is not about that. It's about what do you need to more. So someone who's had kids and want to bring a kid into life, what does that mean for you? How do you need to change how you show up to make that happen? I'm going to give you a few more seconds to answer as the energy is settling, but you can also go back and journal more. And I will definitely encourage you to take as many of those actions as much as you can, leading to April 20th, when Jupiter is going. It's like the luck day, because the Jupiter is not about luck, it's about ease and expansion. So the more you give yourself, you put actions, the Aries energy is going to help you lead into that place of ease. And the more action you take towards that, the less energy is stored in your body, because now you are actually using the energy outside, less likely to get physical symptoms as well. So take one deep breath in, one last deep breath in and out. And now let's switch hands. Again, I'm holding it for the group, but for whoever can do it, right hand over your solar plexus this time, and your left one over your sacral. Your left one over your sacral, which is your uterus is. So right hand should be over your palm, should be over your stomach area, upper stomach, upper abdomen, and lower is the lowest part of your abdomen. And again, close your eyes. And this is about the energy of receiving. Are you ready to start valuing yourself and receiving the recognition of your value? Are you ready to be witnessed? And just see how your body responds to that, especially the word witnessed. Witnessed in this life, witnessed for your value. It's more than just recognition. It's actually recognition, but also like witness. There is a sense of justice that comes with that. Or, so that could feel beautiful. And if that's the case, just stay in the sensation of that. How does it look like for you? Start seeing yourself as being witnessed and receiving the recognition, and see your value being recognized and you witnessed in your value. So if that's the case for you, feel into that. If that's not the case for you, if you start feeling resistance, not being comfortable with that, ask yourself, where in your life do you tend to purposely go into being a doer? Because that's your escape mechanism every single time. You're meant to be receiving and be witnessed and recognized. You probably in your childhood never got that, were never witnessed, were never recognized. So you lost your habit to receive, and you think you can only be valued and recognized through doing. And your homework from now on, if that's you, is every single time you find yourself in overdoing, know that you're just escaping receiving. Just for those that's the case for them, I want you to start writing down how you can start changing that. What area in your life you're overdoing as a way to escape receiving, and what kind of actions you can start putting in place to no longer chicken away, avoid, distract yourself from receiving, being witnessed. The key word is being witnessed, and recognize your value. Your other homework for the next month is to really start keeping track of all of the times and all of the ways that you do that. The behavior of doing to escape. How does it look like? Taking on tasks that are not yours, staying longer, saying yes when you want to say no, but it's not because I don't have a choice, it's because I'm trying to avoid. Does that make sense? For everyone else, you're saying that energy of receiving, being witnessed, and being valued, and how does it look like for you? And I'm going to give you as much time as you need, but we're coming back at 15 after. So in 12 minutes from now, continue journaling, sit in the energy if you want to, go drink water, move your body if you feel like it. But we're going to go straight into the energy healing. So once you come back, I will actually put the link now. So even if you come back earlier and you want to start just feeling into the frequency, you can start doing that now. Good? Perfect. Cassandra, I want to ask you if the word gift makes sense to you now, or are you still a little confused about it? You're welcome. And Sandra, I'm going to answer your question in a second. But Cassandra, I was curious if you know what I meant by gift. Gift will be like things that seem a little esoteric, like seem a little out of this world, like very strong intuition. It could be like predicting something, could be something you be even seeing synchronicity all the time, like almost those could be dreaming of something and it's happening. Anything that feels a little weird. Have you noticed any of those things the last 6 weeks? So just let me know if when I meant the word gift, if you felt like anything weird is awakening in you, if you understand my question. And Sandra, I definitely would recommend when you watch the video back to spend a lot of time with your left hand on your solar plexus. So this is really about the feminine, the masculine. So this is about creativity and being seen. So sharing your creative energy with a bigger audience and with the audience. So go back into that exercise as much as you can. And if it still feels pretty hard, definitely like tell me, like especially in the Facebook group, like tell me what feels weird. But I feel like you're gonna start having little things. Oh, I wasn't sure what I want to share. But I feel like your biggest thing is, what is my creative power? I don't know what that is. Is that what you struggled with? So your biggest answer to that is going back. Okay, well, I consider you're new. You literally just started. So give it a second. Oh, and I love that your energy started moving. But Sandra, it's going to be about the things that bring you that aligned feeling. So start paying attention into what type of things. And for you specifically, it actually seemed kind of creative. You know how we say creative in everyday language, like being creative? For you, it actually does seem creative. So for you, it would be going back to even as a child or where you were creative that helped you, made you feel intuitively aligned. So go back to how you described being aligned. You know how I said put it in your own, in a separate paper. And see now in today's life, what are you not doing from those things that you like? And I feel like for you, like, oh, but nothing is gonna come from that. That's not what I'm saying. Again, it could be an audience of one. Could be you drawing for yourself or reading for yourself or writing poetry for yourself. I'm thinking making things up. But I feel like you know. Is there anything you as a child that you absolutely that was very creative that brought you like peace or brought you fun? Can you think of anything or not right now? So dig into it. And if in a few days by like Wednesday you still got nothing, let me know in the Facebook group. Okay, because you have a part of the answers in module 1, which I tell you go back to your kids thing. And then worst case scenario, we can always look at your charts. I can have you post your charts and kind of nudge you into where those things are that you may have completely lost, like forgot about. Okay. So see you guys in 7 minutes. I'm going to post the frequency in a minute. Give me 1 second, but see you in 7.